akoso within mo party Yera Michael Kwe report no ma bontinti very difficult say betimi akamu asem e de wo kakakrai ene ba ko mienu bi a sniper bi a apiepie de but some people within mo akasa party no echichire so bo a na omo de bonitri so meaning mo transfer assessment no and kwa be na ya ofa so gisa tri so aye bono ewo enkugu ebaye no
normal, especially because when him say politics there, you know, or both internal competition and external competition. And he say, Okona and Fa Kai say, we are there internal competitors there.
I'm sorry.
The only way or more between ya and what they are paid on say on Bebrewase. And then they normal. In fact, say, me cry and Kasana me because I didn't miss me pay. It is a Okoya in the Senate. Remember to say, answer now Obabe running 2024 no kano on the party for Nibia and running for 2023 primaries no enti sanko for ina da so ho mu nenya omo de omo pe enti e normal say nipa na be kwa kacha say me ka say mo fama me won say won to be am fama nko it's normal enti no you can't do anything about it but party for no e be analysis of their omo kano no why say e no kra na say omo pese me nkumnya no mo de kasa because person be kumnya na say or no interest into no dey kasa na the party people will analyze enunti na 2007 primaries nipa 17 na contest in another bank Akufo-Addo o wini wi no sound so ha oni alan koye till somewhere 2014
yeah
it's normal and in each of the elections the internal competitors na say one of Katona na do so one say on to be the president Akufo-Addo don't win the president. Akufo-Addo damage goods. Akufo-Addo already kwenye party for munti meku sa then eventually Akufo-Addo won and became president. It's not there. Me, I hold no grudge. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia holds no grudge because I'm not a Democrat. He believes in competition. And he knows, say, so long as Awaka say, obeko competition, as I say, ni obi, ese na ansa, ni pane tubenya enonyam. It's only a normal. Don't obi an star. Onono is a believer in pushing your positive attributes and nothing else. But you and I know say uno be kwa kensi ya yen na obeche no strategy on use yeah. Other people no strategy ni say ye ni positive attributes be ebeka. Ye feel say ye say wa ye beko ye nim. It's okay. It's okay. We will get over this. Ye we ni ebepa because party for ni me kwa on fast wa omudi omo candidates. MPP party a tradition. Opa polling station. Some have been polling station executives since 1992. Obi was started from youth organizer. Na waya nene oye chairman. Obi wa waya nene oye constituency executive. Me na me a polling station youth organizer. Me be a polling station chairman. Me be a constituency deputy youth organizer. And I'm be a constituency youth organizer. In 16 years. And some me be a municipal chief executive. Me that's what how. And see, se wona me kasa. And yes, I will be chairman party no emunse minimum dada. It will go police station was hanete obi police station on where this into nimse no we nyama nya wo dia wo beka no but once a year competition nko ade wo beka obeti but on the day no onimu kwaya o de befa so wo twa woni ko hwe wechi every election Mr. Lenchamantin and another danko Akufo-Addo koye no everybody thought say it was close. Now you've been involved. Yeah. Oh, Charlie, the way I didn't sit here in Alan, but you're quite na piano gunchain election bia your corner. Why do you think it was like that? It was because the party people know say about why you corner Ghana hano. A kwanya Ghana for fast of the twaba. Adie ba kwa ye nim a fact and they say Ghana hano say we are candidates now call for the first time. You are not likely to win the elections. And yep say no papers okay because Ghana for no take it time. Omuto mo boase no mo soki wo vision na wo preach no. Nti yesa oba ya obekeka ya wo dwedwa wo ni wane de ama. De omo ye ne say wo kan nyina no mutie. Wo kan nyina no mutie. But wo amra wo kan no. Na de wo competitor now no so wo kasa no. We di kan aka na asem na kire mo 4 years ago. A o man farmer no. Nti wo start say wo come say now they wo kan so eto asomu. Na mum akoedie obeka chen 4 years ago yan farmer no. Mama yen fama no so yen ne yen or started so ye pe no ma started the toto de no ho even now it's happening everything John Mahama His Excellency does. Ubon some say na say Bawumia ka say nko be ni say. O na say Bawumia ye ni say. Bawumia ka say nko ba tax we no be ni say. So they are still comparing. Oh, Mahama say the currency strength no because of your gold reserve. Say na say gold reserve no. And you na Bawumia ka 2023 or the buy no. As a 2023 na Ghana a gold reserve 8 tons. And they Bawumia the gold purchase program the buy no. O free abemu December 2024 no. Na ko 30. Hey, okay, say Bawumia mwa. What is so for some chairman? Eka say Ghana interoperability, the first African country. But some say we Bawumia started work yen. But no be engine. But they onka say Bawumia kayo. Until by the time e bedu 2028 no. Na new candidate na NDC fonso edeba no. Afa no so ba na say. Ono so the vision e dey eba. Ghana for beka say oh okay, audience so to so we good. But Bawumia no ne sem ni bi obekeka ya no ase na efa wo. Nti yemo no so me ne hwe. And that is why since Rawlings time 1996 President Kufuor eba first time as a candidate against Rawlings no oluzu. Because that was the first time Ghanaians were hearing what he was saying. 2000, Professor Mills also came for the first time. Remember, saying that Professor Mills is vice president, but he came for the first time. That was the first time, and now all turn home. Then I fought to Tiano. And I'm Toma Kufuor because I'm say he's been saying some good things. Because they attack Kufuor, some na fena wado di aneba. And I'm Toma Kufuor. And I feel you do 2004. You do 2004 no. And I Ghana for say so far so good. The Americans also can they but so far they are Papa Kufuor yi. Okay, so far so good. Oh yeah. Slogan no. Yaman and twice on here. The Ghanaians didn't discount or throw away Atamels completely, but they felt say the Kufuor shares your union Satana health insurance afena e page nimu, basic education any free afena e page nimu ni ade free education ni na afena e page no say Yaman yen capitation okay. Capitation Satana no say Ghana a gateway to Africa. Who fear na banks chase who for your friend is saying loans near the antina nkofo fi say well Atamels ya can here but Yaman in years are obetwitwa so na Kufuor at about 2008 2008 say okay there is no time in this country and that party be sure so be winning elections than Kufuor in 2008 ye kwaye nim wo here okay wutwem wo baby anaga de bia na say go high so okay say no and then you remember that was the time na yeah we know or yeah nobody ever thought say MPP would have lost the election because indeed in that year this country was actually on a very positive growth trajectory in that year but Ghanaians felt say oh my kakra wo nanado I think I would do the anybody. That was the time when another statical free SHS as a move. But now go na free senior high school there. You be there. And this focus na free senior high school easy and Soviet Union 4 years. So people were also a bit skeptical about vision na another a preaching no. And now follow me. Me chepa. And I'm say okay. Atamels no. He has been talking about this his vision for a very long time. Ye man mbe ye. Ne yenhwe. E no moto abama Professor Mills. And no man and not done Kufuor dey win because that was the first time he was preaching that vision. But just to hear me. And Atamels to be the president. Unfortunately, Atamels to be funny the Ukraine wie and na Nyameto suffered in 2012. And now Professor friend saying John Mahama His Excellency be a vice president. You and I know say 2012 elections na ka be 5-6 months to elections. Yeah. And now Professor Mills friend saying Nyameto suffered 5
months yeah.
Wuni minim say sa abato no e dejes nko an e de ya abato no anyonkro say dejes e fe no anyonkro
atenteben
obi afre tuntum in fact Atamels say ye na Ghana obi esu. It was difficult for anybody to go and vote against the NDC. That election was in memory of Professor Mills. And he, as an acting president, that was the first time in the history of this country yenya obi a oba for the first time Ghana for ye den eto abama. But no cry, it was because he was an acting president. And Amanusunti and John Mahama, His Excellency, lose 2016 because for some reason people connected first term Atamels now acting president Kakrebino with the 2013-2016 to make it look like within the year and the man another done quick for the day or buy answer John Mahama SNI day eba in 2024. So between the MPP and the NDC Nipa, and that was what I was talking about. Bawumia being clear in his mind, he said, "Onu no kura safuano to MPP no," because the history shows say on my way no, wa obeba the second time no, who a better chance against the first timer. Unfortunately for the NDC, the Mahama era is over.
After 2020.
For 12 years now, the NDC has been Mahama. It's over. After NDC for the new candidates, fresh candidates Eba. That is where the MPP advantages. Say Bawumia, what it means is that yes, we are the new candidates Eba. Yama NDC for level playing ground. But say the Bawumia badia, nature say we have given the MPP a bigger chance of winning against the first timer from NDC. Obi abe to me winning. First timer and also can be history. But who person will lessen or risk, and you can only lessen your risk based on what the trend and the data says and not assumption. The trend is that so what the Bawumia be against a first timer from NDC, the likelihood so be to me winning higher because of the records na media amount. What the first time about from MPP, the chances of winning as compared to Bawumia now no second time no less. That's all. It is not to say the first time about on to me winning. B obey to me winning. B so on to me winning.
You're talking about chances.
But chances Bawumia they are higher than Sani Pano.
Okay.
It is over 1,200 days. About woman. The most logical thing I'll be say obefa dia or the biggest chance than their almost bet me amount chance, but any day a less. And no, and the Maya say I can 9 pay. Win with Bawumia, I can 9 pay. Yemfa Bawumia koji to me. I can 9 pay. I can 9 pay no. And yet just in terms of nominal figures. It is not to say just and yet but we are saying say for from a bar on qua batward that. A fair no babe trying a chance. Ebi between 80%, ebi between 90%, ebi so between 20%, ebi between 34% and 39%. Bawumia de ye de na ko baako when you 41.7%. It means that ye won nipa 41.7% be won my way mu a omwo gidie e wo Bawumia mu. Yasudie ni se brofo me se consolidate. Ye de sa nipa ne be kasa ne so omo mu agina ho. Na fe 9% na aka no omo meto aba omo a bibinti omo to Mahama no ya to ye boase na eni omo akasa na ye de 9% na ye den aba beka 41.7% no eni obi a afi no no ba na one nipa dodo na akasa no was starting from 0 no fighting for 50 enye pe enti 9% and 50% in there say 9% e pe in the face of 50%, and that is what we are all counting on and riding on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And so you realize, say, this explanation now clarifies the point I made earlier. Say, Bawumia and Kwa, your chances against NDC is reduced.
Okay. Ma share figures breaking the 80. I'm finding say one day I can't 9 peso bobbing. But said now okay. Analysis in the precedent here or the any records no. Obi Nsubagi on the other side, they say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, being the flag bearer of the party, enya the heaviest defeat in recent times. And no, meaning say party nankasa said okay, you are Professor Michael Kwe, I am Shimu Achrenyoma. Within Dr. Bawumia camp ankasa on one when you are at self introspection. Why wapun at the cry a two scene. MNT side defeat we are because they the heaviest in recent times a buyer man party na or on one kasa why assessment no.
So you see, before I ever we no let's all go and admit one thing. On my way who lose elections first one, you will have a better chance to win the next one than Obia Uncle Bida. It means that
depending on the party because Amanfu be a Dr. Edward Nasigrimoko.
No. We are talking about MPP and
I make say depending on the party.
Forget
also yes, I indicate say MPP.
MPP and this now my way.
PNC winning election or Ghana happen.
Oh, yeah, fourth Republican democracy.
Any specifics in your
okay, in the fourth Republican democracy, what will be lose elections, who more now we better enhanced to win the next elections and only mediating the one.
And also crime person mention parties
no me see MPP in this you use one as a business
all right that's fine
only me ya doing me know ya what will be lose elections you have a better chance to win the next elections until we are even better off that we have a candidate that has lost an election already we are better off. Do you know the advantages? In some way, you better fast our candidates. No one say, ya carry. And like I told you earlier, and I deal with you 2 years in your dream power. All the things that Nipana K. and conform for Madrid and Kosono. In the next 4 years, no. Bawumia somebody in our fena ebe fan Crofutimu ye. And the first of lose elections in the crown is what has made him better placed to win the next elections. Data and your assumption. On my way, mwa on kwa batu wadano. Sa wo kwa yenimse ube tume lusu send your no akwe lusu da. Fact. Meboa.
Yeah.
Because mama background number history ni natural how these things pan out. Inti eneme no ka say losing an election in Ghana or failing to win an election in Ghana doesn't disqualify you from contesting.
Prerequisite.
No more cry prerequisites. No, that is what it means, and it makes sense. It makes sense. The Ghanaian people are not wrong with that because emo mutuminyamre assess wo they all cano against the opponent. No, me honestly, I think is the way to go.
Can't it be say be a omumpe into one here?
Mama ba ko omumpe wa wenya da. Mama ko MPP ni NDC. Mama ko wenya da. Omumpe wenya. Omunyina ko omunya. This I want to say unko biom. That is what I am talking about. We don't have even a single one MPP NDC here. Okwaya omampe na wenya da. Me say Mahama, His Excellency, 2016 elections was the biggest electoral loss as at 2016. Because before 2016, no, now even Nanado crowd just about 80,000 Elusu elections in 2008. Then I think now Mahama won with some 300,000. The 1 million vote was the biggest. Near CNDC. So okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course, social be as you by June the NDC. And I could for buy or the NAPCO or the free SHS or this say or NDC 2020. Yako about one. Sunday dua. Obia unim ni biya we could for the picture and the profile so fellow Ghanaians. Bonipa Bakwana, Oko WhatsApp status, Obia Kufado. He was the most popular person in this country. Mahama was the most disliked person. In fact, as at 2020, now people were even wondering, say, and this Kromuka some back campaign, then on Becca. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but today, they say Mahama no quite about to lose 1 million. No, Wababe win election with 1.7 million. It reinforces the statistics and the data and the electoral trend of this country. It validates the fact that on my way, mono, so we are consistent. Now we turn one semono. Now we to boase. Now we gonna for TSA on beto amount. And no nema MPP your biggest chance. Eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Omo mo ba fresh ni mo kra mo. And omo reduce your chances than they ono ko ba ko no we lose no. Nti janko prokra na e da na se. Say when you akwa wie lose. Now his chances are more enhanced. That is basically what our electoral record shows us. When I miracles na eka and then assumptions data no na e chere wo na wo ba na wo say me monto ma me ba me to me win no wo mo na wo say yen use assumption ni yen fa gidie en nante with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia no ye de gidie ene nipa ene so de tumi koso ene ye kabom ne ye de kwa abato nim.
What about the issue of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? On one crofo kran to abano amano me sure say sansem no mwatibi including ayana religious issues no crowd me sheda nye interesting but they mention it I don't know more give one no saying
ukoche bia anadu enya 100% uko bole bamboya so nim say na Mahama ye MP His Excellency Mahama no ye MP ho wenya 100%. Savannah region wenya 100%. Enti there is no rule that says say wo kwa batwa obi abe support. Me feel latte for ye predominantly MPP. But when this for it is a make us me running for president. The American say me kufia me no metena se because we have we say be few mo di anime to den kam sremo won fa me connect nyina yenim na nhye ye ho nonyam eno no boni bi eni hu won say no boni bi enu in fact eno kan ye nkran hye ba ndisi no ye ndisi no wala tan say na me ndisi ni me ntoma ho eno nche say ye bobo aba no wie na say ndisi ni na nto ama me enu nti no all of a sudden e ba be ya asem na wo na wo kasa asem na ti aba omi wo krom omu nyina to aba ma ho omu nyina to aba ma ho there ye problem ene say obe catch the ebinom se omo de sebe omo nim nyansa na mo abato na omo to no omo mfa omo abrabo ene omo de omo gina so omo beliefs emfa nto aba na eye baby obi fi esoma nipa no som na mo de to aba wo yes ade a na wo tete o man nim enti se boku anto aba amadota Mamudu Bawumia question a wo bisa ne se na enka ne no na MPP ye kwa omotoma ya na so omotoma ya dia ye be ka se ene bibi wo wonti ne anto ma no ba enye no kre the boku area no enye MPP stronghold aflawo keta ketu north ketu south omo ye MPP stronghold it is ene ye kofa a candidate fi voter region ba na say a friend is saying sa constituency amabubu anto amana na che so no why bibi onye hey it is just what it is in those areas the hope is that say you will free sa area ho na woni omkokasa e bi o meden on betie but there's something that happened in 2024 as say na ajutum across the country MPP ya ho de so te by 10% across the country. So I just say, say Boku, say Kumasi, Bantama, say info, Yahoo, then so you're and that is why we have close over 2 million people on my day, Oman Konkotwaba. What it means is that there is see in the 2024 elections, it is more about other critical factors than just Nipana, Yedini Yedin, Ekoyano. So I just say, it is a Bantama in Shiaso Swami, and turning out. In their numbers, they say they say be almost turning out for MPP no. Na say Boko Central for you know almost to ma MPP no, and so on turning out. How do you want to tribalize it? How do you want to tribalize it? Say the first Dr. Mamudu Bawumia, if you want to better man, Debbie, Dr. Mamudu Bawumia will still go and appeal to them. It doesn't mean so come better man. The same way another Eastern region, when you are between 65 and 70%, when you are 100%. Your mama when you His Excellency when you 100% war Savannah. I don't know when you 100% because of you. It doesn't work like that. So what just say a time, a time, and I beg our party people stop it. Stop it, Jaikra. It means to me say, wow, we'll see and tomorrow is here. Most of them are MPs. Yanko Fawo results are unya no. They say Ukro Mukra wo ye MP nunya saying. Some of them lost 3,000 votes. 2020 vote onya no 2024 lose 3,000 and no wow what kronim we a local person e ho na what say we the company we the whole time Bawumia ba ho once we vote na so te by 3,000 and now vote so te by 3,000 wow krom for our president yom and so we don't run politics like that. Politics is about one share obi wo ho ade dia say this is the belief and ideology. So there is nothing wrong with it. Obi so there or aba based on the economic situation. Obi o how beto aba ama MPP simply because na ne fie obi anko secondary school da. MPP ba e no mko dem mko secondary school. Enti oka DDDPO, oka deyo, ne dia na say dia na minye bi da no. O ma ya mame. Enti in spite of all these things beto aba mom. Let's give people that respect. But nobody should be coerced or blackmailed to vote for a candidate because of the religion and a tribe. Okay, almost say na say Bawumia anka say the kai say odom vote beba. It's true. And no catch on say me a presidential candidate for my MPP. Baby I make first ni fie. Ghana ma me say na no. Esi we nuanom say we dey be fie. If any say and standing say afana fan kan eno nche say abontin for me dey. Me fan ko. If any say unsa unia wo mu a ye ninja kokofu bobo you pass no you know these are normal things and no inclusion different from what we use to exclude others. That is dangerous.
But so you say those abilities in Nina comes to bear when or select it obetimi attract voter enye naturally odia what you say nti Nina ya dia a hallmark of obetimi win election e dia ma wo so obi yes analysis na onye mfum so bebre because opo bi a sebe be bia uni ahoden kra no betimi nya ahoden dia ba but to this issue of analysis here or president ne records no de wakobi pen ya na likely say okobi ma otimi win ne ho keka ho no se nipa no ideas ana se niema o present no se nye convincing po a ofo se ebe ya adwuma saa se ene ba bia free education ba ye ne Ghana fu sua de kodru ne se the electorate more enlightened sophisticated our system no o se ebe kosa
Yes, the enya about say o kind of that is why Obekaya Mekai say Ghana for two say no more suki vision no more compared to the other. So it's about the vision, it's about the plan. It's about the vision, it's about the plan. Nobody in this country will dispute the fact that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia so far has articulated one of the most forward-looking ideas and strategies for his presidency.
Anything rich in ideas.
Because even as vice president, there is no dispute about specific interventions or the buyer impacting millions of lives. Social media, the number of CEOs amongst the young people, you'll be amazed. These people, what would they be doing without these jobs? Snapchat CEOs, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook. Why? Because data integration now for years since Gold Coast near to me, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia if you have a country like Ghana, being the first African country to have mobile money interoperability, is it an easy thing? Which has today enabled ease of transactions across platforms. Ama e-commerce, ecosystem. Kind of Ghana card that you want. Wouldn't say unique. Even the United States doesn't have the kind of card that you want. United States ID, no. It is not as integrated as our Ghana card. And it's a big deal. And the entire e-commerce ecosystem on all these platforms, ama young people here, you say obi ko register the same card or the Ghana card na here. The same Ghana card now already register the bank account details. The same Ghana card now already register the company. The same Ghana card now the tax identification number. Enti say wo oba online now order dey free me ho. Na me dey suma brew na eba wo ha me wo gidie say wo ye dey ya dey no me dey. Me sabeka. Number 2, okay, digital addressing system. Digital addressing system they open up sa online transaction because Anto Bawumia ba ye refi. Anto Bawumia ba ye no na ye ni ade bia obogu e fe ne say phone so na ama direction ene o ka kire me say what is your mind e wo western north inti membra me bi so bia the answer be call WhatsApp no send no location. I will drive straight to your house in this country. That is what has enhanced online transactions in e-commerce. And these are things Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia introduced. When this country, a worker obia na owu, a worker ya ma menoma na joa, na moje to no mewu because moje ntumi am bedrun tem. Ne kura se ekọ biggest hospital no we ntumi an ko dun tem, or one car no venom na ntumi anti snake we na ntumi am man tem nti wewu no. Sandipa no. They were dying in thousands. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said there be yakase ye be ye kwan nyina ye ntumi wie ntem ye be wie akwan nyina no ne ye nkofo ewudodo enti ye kwan no ye mpe interventions e betuma making sure say ndro ebedu obia aboboa no on time ene embra omope ene okofa zipline drone we buy zipline drone no umsa fe na UK for cry bi. The Vice President Kamala Harris eba Ghana be kai say even the United States krano they have been deployed such a technology and they say bibi to ewo kromwa na say drone bi ni wona emergency nobody needs to put you into an ambulance across the country you shoot here there na be deliver wo baby FN say wugina embra economy we call into the difficult crisis, and that's the last point I made. Difficult crisis na you struggle your currency no nna we wie mu no that's why we say you know what, nobody should panic. Economy be anywhere and go through challenges at every point in time. After 2022, we all knew say the global economy was struggling. Yes, we had difficulties in here. What we should do is to introduce systems that ebe fix it way once and for all. So the be a dachi bi. Such challenges here ya by yenye ebe bi mu a mine will not suffer the same consequences. My dream no me gidi say ade bakwa ya messy over the years is our refusal to back our currency with our mineral resources. The amount UK pounds edim kunima na ho de akoso all over the years. UK pound for the last 40 years currency being traded that because they have the biggest reserve of gold. The only we are here. And that is what has strengthened the currency. Gold you see that's what yeah that's too. Inti sana tie dia ade ne yempe kwan ye be fa so ye be back your currency no na yetumi ama na ho den ye kohwe ye reserve oh say a free independence be pem 2023 gold reserve ye wo e wo vote mi na 8 tons per 8 tons the eno dey hadwin let's deliberately build our gold reserve once we build a reserve to a certain point, and then more confidence about currency in him, because what people realize is that reserve away there, it's just so currency no extra go cry or backbone or the bed or the boost no into you know bedija. And no started say you build a gold reserve through the gold purchase program. And on the map by December, within 1.5 years or say 2 years, now your gold reserve will moving from 8 tons to 30 tons. So that Dr. Bawumia say, hey, baby, I build a reserve na bedroom. We are about to turn the corner. It's a bit to me now. We have done what we call heavy lifting. I say, you are sacrificing a struggle for 1.5 years. And you are building reserve, you know. Into a bit to me, I for gold, no. You cotton, you discanaba, abegu, or mining, now my currency in a confirm. So time, no. Unfortunately, I could IMF. IMF also say there be. Bosumi biya the total amount of money able to me amamo piegum $60 million spent. Yet to mamo yembroso because we are trying to fix a certain imbalance. And no, entina yen to me anye dia NDC 4 buyer omodi gold reserve near the no because the IMF controls were there. You started say ye kano na mo say yeboa mo say IMF 14 omo afi do mo jai. So you saw the news 3 days ago. IMF 14 omo say you can't do that because we have an agreement. And based on agreement, if you do that, we'll not be able to get the balance that we want. Until Munja Diamoyano. What's a BOJ release statement? Now they have slowed down the push in the artificial, your friend is saying, reduction of the currency. And they are going to allow the real sectors of the economy to drive your currency. No? We can build more of the reserve. And you mean America, on Mampeni Mahama and Kasa, a bien a catch a gun and say, they are ama your currency now holding a cost from 2025 January till now, no, and your gold reserve I then you are building. Gold reserve now you are building. As we speak now, NDC4 have added barely 8 tons to the 30 tons on where they umbeto, you know. It is a gold reserve, no, and am I carries and what they are akosura. Can you dispute the fact that it is that gold purchase program idea Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the buyer, no, and am I CD, no, and what in a page? But so the point I am making is that he has proven, say he has a big vision. Able to me solving your problems for a longer term, and he is one that doesn't want to sacrifice that fixing of the fundamentals on the altar of politics. Because it's hard to make a and yes, sexy, and yeah, they are, your budget also just a one sounds one about. Into one help to lose a battle. But so to me, with me, now we are Pejamu baby, wait me at Nakuyan 40 years, and that's the kind of vision that I'm 40 years, more that's okay. So 40 years more can be after 2016 now. So we will be to me. Now I make customer, maybe Presbyterian to me, maybe. Sir, rich ideas Yamokan was saying, ye snippets of yes, ideas in lectures. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia de Maya prior to 2016 election. Inti ebino kra taute no etageno as the economic messiah, but yemfa amemu no nsha monsa na amemu no be sha monsa be wie no sikasem no duru ba bi ahase na ase peke osi o ya lock dollar no de na safana my IGP afi be duru ba bi ade ejigu Dr. Bawumia is still in the government, but enkomodie ne ba as enye ono a as wo ye bi as he is responsible, as he is not responsible, as he is not in charge ne ho nkeka ho eti idea say the Ghana fo hu se wo ho ne mum different to have rich ideas and they different to implement them ebema omanfo no ensa ka sunsunsanso no sa argument no eba say and our answer no
respectfully a very flawed, in fact a very selfish argument. And Omo make his argument
with quotes near idea if you want to lecture if the fundamentals are weak so
yes, a very selfish argument. Omo yes argument you know normally omo ye mo ho
we sure
so me ba
can afford do na dis
some me ba be explanatory niam me bobo so nyina do you dispute any of them? Niam me kai say I heard Dr. Bawumia buy or introduce here with the government, so do you dispute any of them?
Debbie.
Okay, good. Do you dispute the fact that MPP are buying by, and one of the things that he quickly fixed and made sure that everybody will have access to education?
Education, yeah.
Great. And do you also agree, say, education is a bedrock to high productivity in every economy? And that if you don't have highly skilled citizens, at some point, economy do you agree to that? And do you agree same for health? Do you agree, say, in this country, between 1989 and 1994, yeah, industrial base and a one. Then this year by through the diversity implementation committee, almost over 300. Do you agree to that?
And they say
what it means is that, great. What it means is that by the time Akufo-Addo Bemu in 2016, on Ghana, your industrial base it was non-existent, and yet the economy that Dr. Bawumia spoke of is an economy that is going to be based or founded on industrialization. And see, we have to put
so that we move from taxation
to production. Yes, but you don't build.
When you
don't build factories in a day, and there's evidence that they were done, and they were work in progress. For example, we currently have over 8 automobile assembling plants in Ghana. Is it true or not?
Oh,
great.
But more effectiveness, and so a discussion.
You see, industries. They are building it from 50s. ABPM 94. And this is for 300 no. Until for 8 years, it must be progressive. And see, if the thing is there, just say it's there. Were they there? Great. So these things, they are the things you need to be able to build the fundamentals. And I say a week, the Ghana card that today has formalized our economy. Improving. They are the things you need to build the fundamentals of your economy. It is a auto boss now to Mrs. Sanyama way in area. In our better realizing who's on Sono. Tesania 2023, na year bre, and so year is every good. 2024, year qua bat one. We could have pumped all the gold we have into the economy and bring dollar down. But yes, ye bought mine FM. We waited. And this is for buy a yenya so pano. Anka MPP, now 8 months Anka would have seen this your friend is saying effort. All I am saying is you couldn't have achieved everything. And one of the things MPP we admit, and Dr. Bawumia, every campaign will admit it and say our economy has suffered damages in the past 2 years, from 2022 to 2024. And this is the plan to get it back on track. That is why when inflation went haywire, all the way to 54%, by the time near free power in 2025 January, now above to somewhere about 15 or 70% thereabout. That is why. It is because we didn't throw our hands in the air when we had the challenges. We put in place systems and programs to balance it and fix it. But you don't do it overnight. You have to institute it and allow it to run and make sure that you are disciplined about it. So it is not about what you couldn't do. It is about what you managed to do. And if you look at what you managed to do in the face of what you couldn't do, they are all say, anybody I know buying. Na de aka ye ntumi ye no ye mfa ntoto ye ntokwa mu ye den ye mbra me ye
enema bia na mfa nse Ghana for esu ho levy, betting tax, fuel prices affect virtually bibia, dollar rate ene ho nkeka ho aban ba ye within the shortest possible time no amanfo hu se asesa and abasobo no eko edema omampani John Dramani Mahama ne naban se money Dr. Bawumia ewo ne office ana se mo ye discussions about economy na eya de ensem na moka
omo sustain aden e be bom pa ye sa de nsai ye ba
I am more surprised say we need this short time as more turning you maybe
yeah surprised because I've taken you through it. I've told you say na build the gold reserve from 8 to 30.
Bagana for so hu ne sa
enye hwe ye mbabro anka pese mbabro anka ya fengu ho anka ye de beye se na beye amani begina mato ma ye baye ne sa anka ye nyina na ye bebre
enunti ade no ho na no me ye bresa
no na ye fixe enunti na omo ba ya gidigidi omo twe from 14 eba 10 and they won't akwa kodu 11 when be akwa kodu 11 and rank one see the no depreciate by over 2.7% and rank why do you know why? Because now want to mean terms de bia want to mean quartam dollars in behwe ngum sa de bia want to mean run economy sa o run economy say artificial ni artificial na ye ne say dollar no betumi aba bedu 2 cedi enso na ne mabo enkofem enti dollar no paper so mo say 10 ba wo ko banka o mo say ye ni bi this okoji abochi ho wo ko abochi say 12 13 enti a zero sum effect it is a me no watch your paper so say 10 but medical cranial mefi abrochi aba abochi o kan no but on 13 you can be reporting 10 but still at the end of the board that's what 13 that is what we didn't want to do. What we wanted to do is to make sure say yebema real sector of the economy be balancing out until the inflation no call 54 no yam pray ho you to your boss, inflation has been coming down. Yeah, this in a man about down. It's been coming down since the crisis from 54 up to 17. So what just here? Because we believe say so at the end of the year real in a Ghana for years for so. If you $1 fee 14 January, I about 10 if I so ben about so mine.
Oh, sir, and the amount for order cars in the idea. And they will trap plane ticket in the idea. Dollar no ever for more.
Ghana for the see the problem I am minimum want to say.
Yes, so ben number so my intimate few.
But you see when the first one is insignificant, no cardilla. In a Ghana how cause $1 or $1 10 cedis.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You was Simaba Cope. No cardilla at the Fufra. No cardilla. APA ewo Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the second coming and I said the second reference search for the flag bearership no or the eba. Me person obe fasa konya no waka.
And yeah the Fufra about he being consistent and his consistency is that let's build a more robust formidable economy and be creative jobs among the young people. Ubia we juma ya or mine punto no kwabe kwenim and the way I bet me and say enye wo o mampeni na akwa ko bia adwuma ndwuma say na obetumi bie nembom niema o do betoto akwemu na nipa bebre na etumi bie ndwuma no na Ghana fo ne bie nye bia ye ne kese ne say yentete taxes no so emma Ghana fo yentete efe ne say yema tax regime no enye convenient ma Ghana fo and he's already spoken about the port so we making sure say port duties any Togo de ne be ye pe. He's already spoken about flat tax regime. Obia tax regime no be flat. Say no be ya ndwuma phone between space. No much media expand it. Na expand there. No much media fa nipa dodo da aka ho. Enti